Hi there my hairy friends, this is Tudor Tanase, the hair loss dude. I'm the founder of Follicle Booster and creator of Follixil, and in today's video we're going to discuss about Jamie, our customer, which recently finished the 12-week hair regrowth program called My Follicle Journey. Stay tuned until the end so you find the exclusive interview with him where I will ask him a lot of very interesting questions. First, I want to discuss about his overall program and the evolution he had following these 12 weeks of hair regrowth program. In the week 1, you can see over his crown that his skin is clearly visible, his hair shafts were thinning and very soft. This is what he told us. At the same time, you can see that the density of the hair shafts is simply not there. In the frontal part, you can see here that the M is advanced. He started to lose his hair late last year. At the same time, in the middle, when the crown photo, you can see that his scalp is clearly visible. There's not too many baby hair shafts, which means that his scalp is not into the anagen stage at this point. Here at week 4, you can see that his scalp started to transition easily to the anagen stage, and at the scalp level in the crown photo, you can start to see some thickness into the hair shafts. At this point, there's no baby hair shafts because it's only 4 weeks in, and usually takes between 4 to 6 weeks in order for you to see these tiny baby hair shafts starting to grow over the scalp. In the crown area as well, the photo is not very clear, but you can see in the middle that some density started to show, and what he told us here that he started to notice his already existing hair shafts becoming thicker and darker. Now in week 8, you can see at the crown that the photo is not very clear, but however you can see some baby hair shafts covering over the scalp area, and at the same time the frontal part, you can see in the middle that a lot of these tiny baby hair shafts started to fill in the scalp, which means that by this point his skin and scalp is fully transitioning to the anagen stage, and a lot of these baby tiny hair shafts start to maturize and become thicker, longer, darker, and start to fill in the area. Now in week 12, before I start to show you the results, I must let you know that as you see in the photos, Jamie has long hair, and when it comes to the photos before and after, when you have long hair, it's a bit harder to see the results. However, this is the week 12 of the crown area. You can see that the overall scalp is not that visible anymore. As well, he had strong light here, so if the scalp would be visible, you can clearly would see the scalp. A lot of these baby hair shafts started to maturize, become longer, thicker, darker, and into the frontal part, you can see the middle of the scalp when in the week 0, you could clearly see the scalp, the skin scalp. Here, a lot of it is covered with all these tiny baby hair shafts. In time, after he's going to follow the program for 4, 5, 6 months, all these tiny baby hair shafts will become longer, thicker, darker hairs, and that is going to cover his crown area and the frontal part area very nicely. Okay, now so let's discuss about what products Jamie used in order to achieve these results in only 12 weeks. Before he reached out to me over the Instagram and asked me that what kind of products we have, what kind of programs, because he's losing hair. So I gave him a lot of trust because I interacted with him one-on-one, and that's what I suggest you guys just ask me on Instagram at the hair loss dude, any question and I will help you. He said that he was using some kind of Minoxidil general brands, and he always had some kind of irritation, itchiness from those recipes. I explained him what we have done with our recipe in order to avoid over 95% of the skin related side effects, and I convinced him to start the program. He started with Follixil 5% lotion Minoxidil twice a day in the morning at night, followed by an active scalp massage with a scalp massager that we have as well. This will help by increasing the local blood flow, opening up pores, and the overall recipe and the product is going to be absorbed in much higher quantities and metabolized more efficiently over the scalp area. After I added him into the WhatsApp group, me and my colleague asked him what kind of products did he use in the past. He told us that he used a DERMA roller, but the needles were way too small, very tiny needles. And because of this, those needles didn't penetrate the skin efficiently enough in order to hit the bulge area, in order to accelerate the stem cell production and increase the hair growth through healing. I advise him to buy the 2mm needle length roller and use it 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday and Friday, and in the night that he used the derma roller, he didn't use Minoxidil because that can increase the chances of irritation. He followed this program for 12 weeks, and very important, the WhatsApp group, we optimize and we make suggestions in order for you and Jamie as well to find the perfect need and the perfect fit for his hair growth, meaning in terms of treatment, how to use the devices, how often, how to apply, type of pressure. Everything is tailored for your needs. One thing that I want to add before we jump into the interview is that a lot of controversial when it comes to scalp massages. I'm a big proponent of that because they cannot cause you any side effects, any negative side effects. And for this specific reason, personally, I'm doing them for a very long period of time, and every single member that's following my Follicle Journey program, I advise him to do that. The reason for that is that, first of all, you relax the scalp area, you increase the blood flow, you open up pores, and very important, when you combine the scalp massage together with the derma rolling, you help with the skin exfoliation. And by doing that, the minoxidil, when you're going to apply, is going to penetrate the skin much faster and more efficient, and as a result, the overall product is going to have a much better and increased benefit than if you wouldn't do these type of procedures. Okay, now, so let's start the interview. I must let you know that Jamie kindly asked me not to share his family name and his Instagram handle, and at the same time, he didn't want to do the video with the video camera. At the same time, he kindly agreed for me to ask him a lot of questions in order for him to be able to provide a lot of information and tips and tricks for you guys in order to see our program works and to steal a lot of his information from this interview. Without further ado, let's jump into the interview. Welcome everybody to the third interview of my Follicle Journey. Jamie just joined us today here. He just finished the 12-week hair regrowth program. Jamie, thank you so much for doing this interview with us. Thank you so much, my friend, for being here.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you for having me, Tudor. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, so thanks for following the 12-week hair regrowth journey, my Follicle Journey. I will ask you a few questions in order for the audience and for us to learn more about you and more about the overall program and the experience you had with following it.
Absolutely.
The first question, okay, so the first question would be, what age are you at the moment?
Right now, I'm currently 24 years young.
Perfect. And around what age did you start noticing some hair loss?
23, when I turned like mid last year, mid 2022. I started noticing like hair loss and receding hairline and like balding in the crown of my head.
I understand. And what's the style that you're balding? Like more of the crown, more of the frontal part crown, or it's all over?
So it's the frontal. My hairline has receded a little bit, and I do have a little bit of crown thinning. Mainly the crown is what I'm most worried about.
Okay. And what kind of hair loss pattern does your father or grandfather has? Because it's related to that. If it depends on what's the style of balding they have.
My grandfather was had like the crown missing, I guess. So same area.
Okay.
But yeah, that was on my mother's side.
Okay, great. Last year when you said you noticed the first time when you saw hair loss, what was your initial reaction when you realized that, okay, I'm losing hair?
I tried, other little gummies like Biotin, collagen gummies. Really didn't necessarily help with my hair, but more so like my nails and stuff like that, skin. But the actual hair didn't necessarily do much for, because it wasn't more for growth, it was more so just support. So that's what I noticed. And then I tried some other like store-bought minoxidils and stuff like that, but they would really irritate my skin. So it was I didn't like it. And then I found you on Instagram, and I saw you had different products. It like you have minoxidil, but you also had additives that other products in the actual serum that you have that was very beneficial, that I felt were beneficial, and that other products didn't have. So I was interested, and that's when I reached out.
Perfect. Have you been to a doctor to see, when you start to notice you have hair loss, have you been to a doctor or dermatologist in order to check your scalp and give you his advice?
No, sir. No doctors, nothing like that. Just because just wanted to see what I could do before having to go through a medical doctor.
Mhm.
But yeah.
I understand. So in what from last year when until you started to work with us, besides the gummies, you said you used minoxidil that irritated your scalp, and besides that, what else? What other products have you been using or testing?
Last year?
So yes, until you started to work with us, yeah, last year.
Gotcha. I mean, it was minoxidil. I did rosemary oil. I did what was the other little oils I have? Did like hair masks. I did everything that I like, all those type of things. I used to use a DERMA roller, but I think I used like the needle was too big, so it wasn't, or too big or too small. I don't remember. But I remember you
I think
recommended.
it's too small, maybe too small, because I think I advise you to take the 2 millimeter needle length one, right?
Yes.
Yes, so maybe too small, because finding 3 millimeters, it's very hard to find, and maybe it was too small.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you have, or do you know any medical conditions you might have that will negatively impact your hair growth?
No, sir. No medical conditions. Um, I know maybe weight loss it could be a cause for losing some hair. I haven't like lost a drastic amount, but I am on a um I am what's it called? Losing weight gradually, but not anything like crazy.
Extreme.
Yeah, extreme.
Okay. Yeah, so if you put your body to huge amounts of stress, it's gonna cause hair loss. And if you start losing a
Yes,
lot
ma'am.
of weight in a very short period of time, or adding a lot of weight, that can
Yes, I
be
am.
problematic. Okay, now let's discuss about the program and the products. What first convinced you to start the program, My Follicle Journey?
I think it was just so people really like see um a lot of people have to see to believe, right? I am very big on like research and things of that nature, right?
Did it,
So
yeah, did it
I
convince you, did it help you that I was the person behind it? And
yes,
when you reach out to me, you reach out to me that I had the same problem, and I still have the hair loss problem, and I founded this company, and you discussed with me one by one, and I explain you exactly the product and what we've done in order to create a better overall solution.
yes, that was very significant, actually. Just to knowing that it was direct conversation with you, obviously, and then when you got with your team, they would assist you, but it was direct conversation with you, and that you were doing a lot of the research and you did like PowerPoints and everything. That was very beneficial for me. That's what really drove me to be like, okay, cool, I could trust a little bit more.
At the beginning of the program, when you first started with the Follixil and scalp massage and derma rolling, what were you optimistic? What were your
Um,
first thoughts when you started?
I was more so thinking of this is a long-term situation. I just need to stick through with it because the first 2-3 weeks I really wasn't seeing like anything crazy until later on to where I felt texture difference, growth in little areas and stuff like that. So yeah, I at first it was just I was just kind of going through the motions. I can't say yeah I was really optimistic and really excited. No, I was just going through the motions. I had tried multiple different things, and I was like, okay, well, this is another trial. Hopefully, it works.
Yes, that's why I want to create this program for 12 weeks and stay into the WhatsApp group, because the first few weeks when you don't see the necessary results because your scalp takes a lot of time to transition into the anagen stage, a lot of the customers and a lot of users give up on following the treatment because they don't see the results immediately. And for this specific reason, for the 12 weeks, we always tell our customers, please have a patience, have a bit of patience. It's going to happen after week 5, 6, you're going to see the big difference in terms of textures and baby hair.
Yeah,
Perfect.
that's the 12-week, the WhatsApp. That's very beneficial because they give you reminders, and I really appreciated
Yep.
that. Even though I
Yeah.
was busy a lot of the time, but I still try to make sense and work through it as best as I could.
Yeah. Thank you for that. What are your thoughts about the course that I sent you before you started the program? Because when You got the products until they arrive to you. We advise you to check the course. It's like 90 minutes, something like that. But the intent of the course is for us to provide as much information for you in order to create a good educational base, so you understand the overall hair loss project and the hair loss A to Z. So a lot of the possible questions that you will put into the WhatsApp group are going to be replied to the course, from the course. What's your thoughts about that?
Yeah, so the course was perfect. It was that educational background that you need and base that you need, especially when stepping into something like this. If other people who don't really research as much try to step into this, like, oh, my friend told me to use minoxidil and finasteride. So they go get finasteride and minoxidil. They don't understand what finasteride is doing, right? Compared to just using minoxidil, right? And that's something that people should learn. So I found it very beneficial. I've never used finasteride, but I have a friend who does use finasteride, but he has to like be on it for the rest of his life. And I'm like, you could have avoided that. And
so I'm not against finasteride or dutasteride, but I always tell all our customers that finasteride and dutasteride have the highest risk profile. And for that, you need to try everything else before you try finasteride or dutasteride. Just imagine you drive a car. You want to drive the BMW to get used to it. Then you want to drive maybe an Audi or something like that. And then just go to McLaren's, the more riskier ones, and the higher the highest risk profile these two medications have. And if you decide to go with them, is just later in the treatment. Just don't start with them immediately. It's like going to the gym and immediately doing steroids. It doesn't work like that. The next question would be, what are your thoughts about the one-on-one WhatsApp group?
One-on-one WhatsApp is very beneficial. I like the fact that they remind you and they keep you on track. We all have our individual lives. So for me, it's like a little tough. I balance a lot. So to get a text, it helps me come in the next day to send these pictures and assist you guys.
Okay, thank you so much for that. So when it comes to Follixil, to the lotion that we send you to apply over your scalp, what are your thoughts about the overall recipe compared to the minoxidil that you used before?
So the other topical minoxidils that I've used are just like have a lot of different little things in them that I really didn't know or couldn't like pinpoint. Whereas yours, if you give me 1 second, I can go get the bottle so I can look at the actual ingredients. Is that okay?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, so your bottle is perfect. Active ingredients, minoxidil, niacinamide, caffeine, biotin, and then inactive ingredients explains specifically what it has in there. Whereas other serums and I guess minoxidils do not have that. They'll have it like really, really small. This tells you 100% what is on there, and it's not irritating. This one didn't really irritate my skin. What irritated my skin was a DERMA roller, but that was it.
Okay, I understand. This is a very important core value for our company, transparency and honesty. And this is one of the reasons why I want to do these type of interviews, because I want you to be as honest as possible with the program and the overall structure that we created in order to provide as much value as possible. Because in the hair loss industry, as well, is a lot of shady products and shady companies that promise you so many things. And we simply don't want to be that. We just want to be as straightforward and simple as possible. And that comes to our recipes, that comes to everything we do is straight in your face in order for you to know exactly what we're doing.
Yeah, and that's I appreciate that. I like the transparency, especially for people who are hesitant, right? I liked the fact that it was all transparent, and I think you're doing a great job, and I think this is going to blow up, and it should blow up.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We're doing our best. About the derma ruling, what are your thoughts about that? You said you use a derma roller, but we both think that the needles were too small. What are your thoughts about the 2 millimeter needle length? Did you have some issues with it? What's the pick there?
I think for me, since I have longer hair, it's a little tougher, right?
Mhm.
It gets caught in the hair sometimes. I have to kind of like part it a little bit. But the different sizes, they did make a difference, right? I didn't have to put like as much pressure or get maneuver it in certain ways. But I definitely appreciate the recommendation you did for the larger one and the scalp massager.
Yep. So here's a very interesting thing. Have you ever used a derma stamp?
Say that
Have you
one more
ever
time.
used have you ever used a derma stamp instead of derma roller?
Oh no, but I did hear you.
After,
I did see you
okay,
say.
after this call, I will send you one. I will send you one to try. We are gonna launch that in like maybe 2 months on Amazon and our own website. The derma stamp is very interesting because you don't roll, you just go manually and stamp the area. And it's very good because as you have a longer hair, when you go with the needles, sometimes those needles can do micro cuts to the hair shafts. And when you go to the shower, those hair shafts can detach and you can make like an unwanted haircut. So I will
Correct.
send you the derma stamp in order for you to see. For me personally, I like it way more than derma roller, especially if you have a longer hair. For scalp massages, what are your thoughts there? What do you think about the massager and the fact that we advise you to do an active scalp massage between 3 and 5 minutes every time after you applied the lotion?
I think that was a big part of it because a lot of people want to just that's something we like, when starting off minoxidil, any type of minoxidil, you don't a lot of people just kind of like just rub it in a little bit and let it sit. And then all that does is stay superficial on your actual hair. It's not getting into your actual skin, your follicles, which is what you want for them to strengthen and grow. And also those that aren't growing, it gets applied to those. So it's very beneficial. I bought the scalp massager too. So after like a good, I have the three methods that you do. It's like, you push in, you like press down, and then what was the other one? You just like push and hold.
Yeah, you
Um,
push and hold, and then you shake at the end.
shake. There you go. And so after that, I used a scalp massager that I bought. That you told me to buy, and that helps
Yep.
me out a lot too. That like feels good. It feels good. So it kind of reduces like any like at first minoxidil. Sometimes you get a little headache or something like that. You got to get used to it. But I think I got a headache one time. That's about it. But if with the scalp massager, it just does. I don't even feel it.
Yep. That's why we advise it. Scalp massages are really great, and I truly believe they are massively underrated, especially when you apply minoxidil, because when you do those active scalp massage, you open up pores, and by extension, minoxidil is going to get absorbed by the skin in higher quantities, and the metabolization of the ingredient is going to be in much higher quantities.
Yeah.
Perfect. So now, what would you say to someone that's not convinced to start this program that we put together?
Well, I would first ask what their goals are, right? I have a friend who I try to tell this about this program who has been balding for a while. And he was like, "Man, I just think I'm just gonna let it be." And I'm like, "So you're giving up in a sense?" He was like, "Well, yeah, it's my genetics." And I was like, "But you can change that. And you can alter, you can better that in some way. Obviously, it's not going to be overnight. You have to be a little committed, but you can absolutely change it. So just try it out if you'd like to. And if you don't want to, then it's okay. But if you feel like you want to stop the balding, or not stop the balding completely, but grow your hair out a little bit to where it looks a little better, then this is the one for you. I can tell you, for me specifically, since I've tried multiple different products, this is my favorite one. So it's
Thank you.
for sure. It
Perfect.
doesn't irritate. It doesn't. It dries quick, right? And yeah,
This is very important, especially when you have a bit of a longer hair. Even me, if you have the traditional minoxidil recipes, they add a lot of propylene glycol, and in order for them to counteract that, they add a lot of glycerin, and the glycerin is the one that's making your hair oily and it doesn't absorb fast. So it doesn't help if you want to do any kind of hairstyle. It's very tough with the traditional recipes.
Yeah, 100%.
Perfect. Jamie, thank you so much for doing this. These are all the questions. Thank you so much for helping others with this interview. I'm super happy that we were able to help you and to work together in the future. And yeah, thank you so much, my friend. I truly appreciate it.
Absolutely. I appreciate you. Still look to working with you further here in the future. And we'll keep in touch.
Yes. Bye-bye.